Something's fishy.
Hey guys, I'm Shark Zone, and in today's video I'll be giving you an advanced guide on escaping low elo or elo hell and how to climb out of it. I will be going in depth on what the differences are between low and high elo players and the changes you can make to climb faster. So guys, if you enjoy this video, please smash the like button because we're getting right into it. So first things first, let's talk about how the early game should go. Basically, the number one mistake that happens in lower elos and even higher is people AFKing at their camps in the jungle. When an invade happens, some of the times it doesn't even matter if you ward to escape because it really comes down to reaction time and just to walk away. As long as you see them start walking towards you, a lot of the time you won't even have to flash away and just to run. When the enemy invades you and your team, they prey on one of you to be alt-tabbed or away from keyboard to gain a kill. As we all know, the best spot to prevent invades is the tri-bush in the river, but the only thing I have to say about that is that if the enemy is invading S5 and meet you at the tri-bush early into the game, they may be able to catch you off guard and gain a kill. Even though it's less time to react, try warding the bush nearest to your camp just to see the enemy coming and to walk away peacefully. Especially in lower elos, there's usually one path to invade, which is river, tri-bush up to red or blue camp, but in higher ranks like high plat or diamond, that is when they start to do clever pathings to invade your team. There's no better warder than an actual champ, so if you could, for this example, have your ADC, support, and jungler stand at all invade spots, there should be no one dying. So now that we're transitioning and talking about laning phase in the early game ganks, let's first address the importance of wave management and short trading. Wave management is so important because it can literally determine if you win or lose a lane and set up an easier time for you when it comes to gaining a lead. So there are only two types of wave management playstyles you should know, which is freezing near your tower to zone the enemy from farming or shoving the minions under their tower to deny the enemy from minions that way, with you usually poking them under tower. So mainly people freeze when they are trying to set up a gank for their jungler or to zone the enemy from as many minions as possible. Also want to mention that when you freeze when you're near your tower, when you are ahead, it is pretty much a guarantee that you can't get ganked, and it makes it impossible for your laner to set anything against you. Faker's favorite strategy, of course because he's in Korea, is to ward and to shove the lane hard. He says that getting as much attention from the enemy jungler by shoving and warding is the best way to easily set your team up for a win in the early game. Warding is really important with this plan because without them, no doubt he will die because he is pretty much 3/4 up in the lane. Also want to note that Faker wards on the side of the map he thinks the enemy jungler is on and tries to stay on the other side of the lane so he can walk away easily. Personally, for me, I love to play the shove and roam playstyle on Fizz because it's really easy to gain a lead from other lanes, because solo queue is known for having uncoordinated people, and specifically bot lane, they will always be under leveled compared to you. Freezing the lane is a strong tactic, of course, and it honestly comes down to the situation of the game. Freezing the lane makes the enemy feel completely useless because of the fact that he can't farm until a huge minion wave is under his tower, and in that case the laner can roam, getting an even bigger lead. When playing as jungler, it doesn't matter how many separate lanes you gank, more who you gank and how important they are in the game. Try checking websites like op.gg or u.gg before your game starts to see who has a high win rate like 55+, because those are the people that usually know what they're doing with their lead and how to close out the game. They usually know how to turn a 2-0 lead to a 12-0 lead and get as many objectives as possible like Dragon Rift. Ganking a second time Katarina player with a KDA of 0 and 6 won't benefit you that much because she may even throw her lead or not use it to its fullest potential. When it comes to the early game objectives like Dragon Rift, the best time to take it is when the enemy jungler is on the other side of the map, or you kill the enemy jungler or bot lane with your team. Try going for trades in lane you would most likely win, like when the enemy throws their damaging poke ability like Q, or when their flash and ignite is down. A key thing to note is to look at the minion wave before you start a trade, because if his or her minion wave is bigger and you start a trade in the middle of it, they are most likely to win. So when it comes to gaining a strong and powerful lead early, the best thing to do is to roam hands down. When you roam, it is 3 times better than getting a kill on your laner, because after, for example, you get a kill on the enemy ADC and support, you've killed 2 people, plus you are able to get more platings on tower and take drag along with it. Both you and your laners will come back stronger because more gold and XP, and the worst thing that can happen is you losing 14 CS under your tower. Roaming in Season 9 is even better because of the fact that bone plating was invented, making it even harder for them to take early towers and for you to have an easy time making your presence on another side of the map. So now let's talk about mid and late game. In the mid and late games, the important factor that decides whether you win or lose a game is picks. Once you gain a pick on the enemy, then it becomes a 4v5 teamfight or a contest for Baron. The best way to get a pick is to ward a bush, and when the enemy is spotted on it, you should collapse on them with your whole team. Once you get a pick, try hard engaging a team fight knowing that it will be a 4v5 or take Baron. They will have no choice but to back away from Baron because they will be down around 10k gold because of how much the champ was worth when he died. It is close to a 100% won team fight because there's nothing they can do unless they want to lose more. That's why playing assassins are so good in the lower ranks, or mages with CC like Lux or Ahri, because of the fact that picks and fights happen so often. So in team fights, the main difference between diamond and bronze is prioritization. In bronze, a lot of the time what happens is people literally jump at each other or who's the closest target instead of focusing the most important one. In diamond, you will see assassins 100% of the time focus the ADC because it's their job to do so as the champ. If you play assassins, a lot of the time in the lower ranks, they won't use them to their fullest potential because of the fact that they will burn everything on the tank and deal close to no damage and get one shot. As soon as you do your job on what champ you are playing, that's when you start to win more games, and just with a little bit of practice, you will begin to do it again and again and win more games easily. So now that we've gone through things that should happen during the game, let's talk about the second most important thing, which is mentality. Mentality can mean a lot of things, whether you troll after someone flames you or AFK when you get mad. Besides all that nonsense, let's talk about general tilts and how it affects your gameplay. When you get tilted, you are more likely to rage at your teammates yourself, make more mistakes, or just give up. After one lost game, it can make a whole difference into your next, depending on how upset that game made you. You may not even think you are tilted until the next game you play doesn't go in your favor, and then you start trolling and realizing it. Basic rule of thumb, you need to give yourself a break after a 2-game losing streak, at least 30 minutes to put your mind at rest. Personally, for me, that means a game of CSGO or whatever may distract you. The more you play after you are tilted, the worse it gets, and it's kinda like gambling in real life. Anyways guys, I really hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, please press the like button because it really helps me out a lot. Comment what you want to see next, and subscribe to see more like this in the future. If you haven't, make sure to follow me on Twitch.tv where you can watch some of these videos live. I'm Shark Zone, here with another video, and I'm out. Peace!